happens in our life when we are presented with an opportunity to do something we've never done before. Something that gets us outside our comfort zone, something that might scare us to death. It might be a risk, and maybe we're afraid of failure. Well, when we're presented with that, there's really two ways we can go. We can kind of step back and kind of freeze with the fear and not move into taking that opportunity, right? And maybe that opportunity is taking a new job, or leading a team, or taking on a new project, or moving to a new city, and we decide, just can't do it. Or we can move into embracing that risk and taking that new job, or leading that team, and really embracing the fear, but moving forward with some action. You know, we kind of live in a bubble of all of our personality traits and our thoughts and beliefs, and sometimes that bubble is just too comfortable, and it stops us. But what if we could move forward outside that bubble and embrace that fear? Now, I have to tell you, it took me about 20 years in my professional life to really get this, to really understand how to move through fear and take action, and then amazing experiences happened. So I want to tell you about how that worked. So a little bit about me. I graduated with a computer science degree. I worked at IBM for about 11 years, worked for some startups, actually wrote 3 books on marketing, became a consultant and a keynote speaker, and I think that people who looked at me generally thought that I was successful. But a few years ago, that's really not how I felt on the inside. I was 47, and I felt stuck. I felt like I was stifled creatively. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do next. I thought, there's got to be something bigger in the world that I should be doing. I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what it was. And at that age, was I just going to reinvent myself and go do something completely different? It was just not a good time. And then I remember sitting on the couch one night, and I'm just flipping channels, and I stumbled upon a little television show called RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know if anybody watches RuPaul's Drag Race. You're big Drag Race fans. Okay, well then you know what I'm talking about. RuPaul's Drag Race is a show hosted by the most famous drag queen in the world, RuPaul, and it's a reality competition show. So every season, Ru would round up the top drag queens in the country, and by process of elimination, she would crown America's next top drag superstar. Well, I couldn't believe what I was seeing on the screen, because what I was seeing is these male performers creating these female personas. They were bold, they were fearless, they could own their own energy. And I'm sitting on the couch thinking, that's what I want. I want some of that. That's what I need right now, right? And I start watching season after season of this show, and I'm just obsessed with finding out the secrets of how these folks were creating these personas that could allow them to be fearless, take risks, and just do whatever they wanted to do. So I thought, okay, I'm watching all these shows, and I find out that there's a lot of drag going on in my town of Austin, Texas, where I live, right? So I start going to drag shows. I start meeting these drag queens from the show, and I want to talk to them, and I start interviewing them, and I ask them, how do you do this? How do you go from this to this amazing character? I want to understand how you do it. And they were telling me amazing things about how they would create this persona and how it would give them a new sense of confidence, and it would actually bleed into their real lives too. And it was that moment where I think maybe one of the biggest turning points, where I took a risk and said, you know, even though my last 15 years have been writing and researching and talking about customer loyalty and customer experience and all of that, I want to uncover this transformation of how we can become the boldest versions of ourselves and learn from drag queens. So I started researching for this book. I went on 2 drag cruises with 40 queens from Drag Race and 2,000 fans. Let me tell you, if you can ever go on a drag cruise, you totally should. It's a blast. It's absolutely a blast. And then as I thought about it, I thought, now I can talk to these folks and I can experience it, but how can I write about being bold and taking risks and being fearless unless I do it myself? And that's when I made a decision to learn how to do drag myself and become a female drag queen. And I know you're laughing because you're thinking, wait a minute, women can do drag? They absolutely can. And I think a lot of people don't know that. Drag is for everyone. It's a male-dominated profession, which is pretty funny because it's female impersonation, right? So we have guys who create the female characters. There's actually women who do a male character for the stage. That's called a drag king. And then there's women who create an over-the-top female character, and that's called a bio queen, a faux queen, or just a female drag queen. And I thought, I'm going to do that. It's crazy, but I'm going to do that. And so I found the top drag queen in Austin, Texas. Her name is Kelly Klein, and she came over to my house and literally mentored me through all of it. Spent hours learning theatrical makeup and wig styling and costuming and the art of the lip sync. And I'm going to tell you, I learned absolutely everything that a male drag queen learns how to do, except I didn't have to learn how to tuck. So thank God. I hear it's very tough thing. But when you create a drag character, you have to name her and imbue her with these characteristics. And so I created my drag persona. Her name is Lady Trinity. And she is the boldest, most badass version of myself. And I don't have a theater background or a dancing or acting background or any of that. And you can't just put on the wig and put on the outfits. You have to really experience what it is to perform on a stage if you're really going to do drag. So I had to do that. So I would go out and perform in clubs in Austin with seasoned drag queens, not knowing what the audience would think of me as a woman doing drag. And I felt a lot of pressure to be the best I could possibly be. And it was crazy. I learned to continually push myself to get outside my comfort zone, to take these risks of bigger venues and bigger venues. I ended up performing at one of the biggest drag festivals in the world, the Austin International Drag Festival, with 200 performers from around the world, including legends of drag like Lady Bunny and queens from Drag Race. And there's little newbie me performing with all these people. It was scary, it was exhilarating, but I kept learning as I kept pushing myself to do all of these things that were way outside my comfort zone. But you know what happened after that? Opportunities started coming my way. I started writing the book, and I was actually able to meet RuPaul. Now, this is him out of drag. I don't know if you've ever seen him out of drag. And he was very supportive of a woman talking about how to be bold through this transformative process of drag. And he actually gave us a quote for the cover of the book, which is just mind-blowing and amazing. And as an author and as a speaker, one of my biggest dreams would be to do some sort of TED or TEDx talk. And that came true. I got invited to do a talk at one of the biggest TEDx's in the country, TEDx Vancouver. 3,500 people in the NHL hockey stadium in Vancouver. And I was sharing with everyone, you know what? Underneath who we are, maybe we have a drag queen underneath. Someone who is a persona that is bold, that is fearless, and that can help us embrace risk and try new things that we've never done before. And so I wanted to show the crowd that even though I might walk out looking very professional, underneath, there's Lady Trinity. And with the help of backup dancers, I could become her, right? And let me tell you something about backup dancers. Everyone needs to have them, because you know what their sole job is to make you look amazing. And so you might try it. Next time you walk into a meeting, you have a big presentation with your boss, bring your backup dancers, because they make you feel like Beyonce, and we should all feel like Beyonce. But for me, it was really the power and the transformative process of drag that really inspired me to take new risks. Through all of this, through all of these crazy things that I did, when I would be scared to go on stage or scared to perform with these drag race queens, I would literally use this mantra. Honey, what would a drag queen do right now? And so what would a drag queen do right now? She would do that thing. She would embrace that risk, and she would move forward, even though her feet didn't want to step up on that stage. So for you guys to think about in your life, if there's this thing that you're afraid of, this new opportunity that might arise, and you're thinking, I don't know. I would want you to think about a powerful figure. What would they do? So maybe it's not a drag queen, but maybe it's your favorite athlete. Maybe you love J.J. Watt. Think, what would J.J. Watt do right now? Or maybe it's a movie character. What would Trinity from The Matrix do right now? Or maybe it's a historical figure. Really, what would Rosa Parks do right now? And so you think about these experiences in your life that could come to you if only you would step into the risk, embrace it, and I think amazing things will happen. You guys, thanks so much for your time.